All right. Should the 49ers trade Nick Bosa? He's probably going to want $47, $48 million a year next year. You could say he's worth it on the open market. I don't know. What do you think? It's a tough one.
Yeah, I think they should. Right now, we've already shown that the defensive line is already in transition. We've moved on from everyone. Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner's gone. The old experiment with D Ford, Arden Key, Cleveland Farrell, just you name it. So we've turned over. One thing that I can say about Nick Bosa is that the injury history of Nick Bosa is kind of just looming as far as just him always needing to stay in a particular type of shape just to be able to play football. Another thing that I'll say about Nick is that he does disappear in the run game, especially when it comes to holding down the edge in the run game. And that's only going to exacerbate itself. I also believe that if we have another, let me put it like this, whatever we do, we're at an impasse with the wide nine, because Robert Saleh is not going to be 100% wide nine specific this year. We've already just talked about earlier in the show how the trend of what we're doing right now is stopping the run, which is a killer for trying to run with the wide nine if you don't have the bodies. Also, the cachet that Nick Bosa holds of being a leader right now, the only way we'll be able to get anything off of that is if we strike before we will be able to move on and get into negotiations with him. And then I'll say this, 47 is the floor. We already know how we negotiate with him. We don't. He has all of the leverage, and we can't necessarily do anything as far as if you look at just the last time we negotiated with him. I think that if Nick Bosa, if Michael Parsons is getting $47 million a year, when Nick Bosa is up in 2 years, he's going to be looking at anywhere north of 50 to 52. All right. And that's like Brock Purdy money at that time. So I do believe that the Niners have already seen also, and then also we got to see what the new Niners look like. Let's not forget the front office, Parag, they're really running the show right now. They're not congruent with the coaching staff anymore the way they used to be. So I'm very interested to see what a Nick Bosa negotiation looks like with the Niners, or if they get ahead of this and move on from
them. Yeah, I feel like with Bosa, if they were to make it back to the NFC Championship game this year, I wouldn't necessarily trade him, because again, like, you're back in contention and he's important if he has a good game, a good season. But if they have another losing season or a season where they miss the playoffs, then you need to start trading these guys. Like, it's not working. You could fire the coach, but that doesn't necessarily make this roster construction work. And I think you have to decide, are you more like the Cowboys or more like the Packers? And from where I'm looking right now, the Niners look more like the Cowboys. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they go 13-4 this year and they're better than the Packers and they keep Nick Bosa and extend him. Or they go 8-9, miss the playoffs, and you're like, and now you want $47 million a year. So what for? So we can do what? Then I trade him, and I think I wouldn't even stop there. You could start trading all kind of these older players who still have value and like really retool for the future. Commit to it, not do 2 timelines. But it depends on what happens this year. I have no idea what's going to happen.
I don't know. This is my thing. Do you think that we could do it again? I mean, we found George in the 5th round. We found Brock in the 7th round, right? We traded for Trent. All right. Fred was a guy that was an intentional pick. All of the picks are intentional, but you know what I mean? Like, these guys, you just don't find these guys. They kind of just happen. Do you think that we know our way home, basically? A lot of times you can find your way to the mountaintop, but being able to find your way down and back again is like the key. That's what makes you valuable, because you know the route. Do you think we know the route, that we could really strip it all down and come back?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I think we're seeing that Robert Saleh is evolving, and I think we're seeing that this defense that he's trying to build from scratch is going to be different than he built the first time around, which to me is encouraging. We don't know how it'll go, but it seems like he has a new plan for the future, for the current NFL. Kyle seems to be stuck in his ways. He got Juszczyk still here. I mean, it's a very old offense, and he keeps signing. Like, people go down, and he's like, and we're going to sign Marquez Valdez-Scantling because he knows the system, or Robbie Chosen because he knows the system, and they're all 30-something. It's like, eventually you might look at Kyle's being like, dude, you don't change at all. And the league sort of caught up to you, and the whole league runs your system, and every team's kind of familiar with it. So I don't know. Depends on which side of the ball is better this year.
Yeah, I mean, we're really going to be able to see what Kyle can do from a coaching standpoint, because what's going to be wild is not before the call out used to be Grant teams that ran our system, right, and then the players that were within that system, and that's the enclave, right? That's the
Mhm.
network in which we deal in. What's really going to suck is when we're going to start seeing that it's where guys like Minnesota, Los Angeles, the Rams, right? Guys like the Seahawks, they're going to start putting things on wax where they're going to say, like, dude, we're evolved. We are not what you guys do. You guys are almost the purest form of what this offense is. Like, we actually have put this offense into the 21st century and moved up to the cutting edge of what football should look like. So that's my biggest thing is that we stand the possibility of also being lapped by the people that have copied us.
Well, I think it's interesting. Like when the Niners were really good, they were sort of defined by having a great defense and a great running game, and a quarterback who was cheap and a good passing game for sure. But it was not the focus of their team. Now they're the opposite. Like the defense isn't great. They're trying to figure it out. The run game, we'll see. But you have all this money invested in the quarterback and the wide receiver position, and you're trying to win a whole different way. I don't know. We'll see if it works. That's never how they really were dominant in the past.
Yeah. What I just want them to show is just professionalism. I understand, like we said, it's kind of like a quirky stat, but it does show that it does show whether or not we show consistency. The fact that we either lose or we freaking tank. We're horrible. We're not
Yeah.
even respectable. Like we can't even like traverse through the season. And first, like you said, I have to give this to Kyle. As much as I have talked and criticized about this man, I have to give it to him because I too know the game of football and it is a journey. And what you are in week 12 is not what you are in week 1. That's true. Okay. But at the same time, he's gonna have to coach his way there. And I'm interested to see if they can actually be consistent.
Yeah, man,
Like they
the wheels fell off before week 12 last year. Like,
right.
there's no guarantee that you'll be a team by week 12.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
another thing that Grant, what would you say if I asked you this? Do you think that the Niners had played with 100% effort every game last year?
I mean, if that was 100% effort, then that wasn't great. No, didn't look like it. I mean,
It did.
Devondre Campbell
Come
just
on,
didn't look
man.
like it.
I mean, we saw the differences when they played.
Travarius Ward said his heart wasn't in it.
Come on, dude. Look at how Kyle called the game against Ben Johnson when he knew that the Lions were coming to town and the Lions were
Yep.
supposed to implode. He did everything,
Yep.
right? It took us till late in the season
And
for
still
Kyle to
lost.
even start screening, right?
Mhm.
Or
Yep.
using George late. It's like it's time out for any of that crap. Like he's got to actually put out a real game plan this year, and not one that makes him look
And
good
you
and have
can't tank.
possible.
You can't tank.
Yeah,
You can't
he's
tank.
always trying to be either we're gonna win in a fashion where I get all the credit clearly, or the
We're gonna do
game
the
plan,
elegant tank where we lose by 4.
and I'm gonna be once removed. I'm gonna make the fall complicated enough for them to have the ugly fall, and then
Correct.
I can talk about everything that fucked up.
The elegant tank. Nah,
The
we're not doing that
elegant
this year,
tank.
man. I don't
Yeah,
care. I don't want to hear any excuses. You gotta find a way, dude. You're such a good coach. We all believe in you, man. You're so good. And you have your quarterback, the one that you wanted.
he is a
You
good coach.
wanted Brock. You didn't want Tom Brady. You didn't want Matthew Stafford. You wanted Brock, and you got him. Joseph Ernberg says Niners should do this with all their big namers. Yeah, if they miss the playoffs again. Or maybe even if they make it. Kilo TW says, fun fact, 62% of teams with the easiest schedule miss the playoffs. That's not a fun fact, but it's a good fact.
Yeah.
I like it. Briscoe Shill says, trade Nick for 2 firsts. He gets cooked on the edge. Well, he doesn't get cooked in the edge. One thing about Nick, he's a bit of a liability against mobile quarterbacks, which means year after year, his effectiveness kind of reduces because it's more of a mobile quarterback league. And of all the elite quote unquote edge rushers who overrun the quarterback in the pocket, man, he's the biggest defender. He's the biggest defender. Can't have it.
Yeah. I mean,
we've
it's
seen it.
almost like baked into his skill set. We all know that's going to happen.
Yeah. And there's no one on the team that will tell him not to. Soko 1918 says Niners will F up this up and trade Bosa too late. Too late. Too late. Joseph
love how
Bernberg
you
says this
read the
offense without
typos
Debo
with
is going to be
confidence.
big. It could be really good. It's going to be a lot more finesse than it was in the past. You know, Ricky and Christian and Demarcus Robinson, like no one's running anyone over anymore. Those days are over. The Jordan Mason, Debo Samuel era is over.
It's going to be a
It could
faster
really good.
offense.
Yeah, way faster. Josh Wyatt says, I thought the Niners should trade the pass rusher and stack picks until I saw Jerry Jones do it. What would Jerry do? Don't ever do what Jerry would do. Funny. All right.